introduce our special guest for today. Very special guest. He is an award-winning business coach, marketer. He's worked for companies large and small, including some big names such as American Express, LG Electronics, Office Depot, and much more. He's also a adjunct professor for business at Broward College, pretty much a Renaissance man when it comes to the business world. And I hope from today's lessons, you'll definitely learn a lot about, how your business is. Maybe you can take some key points away from what, kind of the advice he's going to give you guys today. So it should be very, very good. But without further ado, I'm going to introduce Ellis Mass, and he's going to do his presentation.
Thank you so much for that amazing and warm introduction, Raven. That was really awesome. And I want to thank you for allowing me to come and join you. And thank you, Henry, as well. And really to the whole FMS team. So excited to be part of this conference and excited to see all of you guys. So we're here to talk about the 6 ways to grow your business's profits. And there are only 6 ways. So if you are a business owner, this is for you. If you aspire to be a business owner, this is for you. And if you just want to think like a business owner, this is for you. Every job that I've been in, I've been told that I should think like an entrepreneur. Of course, those of you who are entrepreneurs know that it's a little different when you're sitting in the chair and you are entrepreneurs. So it comes down to it. There are only 6 ways to grow your profits, and a little bit also about the stuff that I do. My business is called Focal Point Coaching. We're actually an international organization. We use content, tools, and systems from the great Brian Tracy. Some of you may have heard of him. Actually, a lot of the stuff that we're going to go through today comes from a book that Brian wrote, which I'll tell you a little bit about in a second. But I work here in Broward County, Florida. Actually, I work across the globe, but I'm based here in Broward County, Florida. I do business coaching, both individual and group, online, private coaching, lots of workshops and seminars, kind of like the one that we're doing today. And I hope you get a lot out of it. So let's talk about the challenge facing our businesses. I would ask, if we were in person, I'd say, raise your hand if your business has no challenges whatsoever. And none of you would raise your hand. So you don't even have to turn off your cameras. I already know. If anybody actually can say yes to the question, I don't have any challenges in my business, you can go ahead and put that in the chat and I'll see it. But I think we all face challenges. That's why we come in. And it's really just a question of how we respond to the challenges. So to take that a little bit further, if I ask an audience full of business owners, what do you want? They'll give me a few answers, but it really almost always boils down to a few things. I mean, I want a vacation in Tahiti. I want this. That's fine. But when it comes to your business, what do you want? Most of them want to grow their business, and what that usually means is they want more customers. So usually, if we are talking about this for a few minutes, the idea of I need more customers walking through the door or calling me up, that's usually something that comes up. Another thing that comes up is I need more revenue. All right, then I'm happy with the number of customers. I just wish I had more revenue. Sometimes those things are related. Sometimes they work separately from one another. And ultimately, I want more profits. And that's almost any business owner will ultimately tell you, I want more profits. However, that all said, is that those things are all outcomes. We can't just wave a magic wand. I wish we could and say, you know what, I'm going to go out and get more profit today. It'd be nice if we could. We can't. These are not actions. They're outcomes. They require action to make it happen. You cannot wave a magic wand and say, I'm going to go get more customers today. You can, however, take action to go and get more customers. You can implement a new marketing program. You can change your intake practices. You can do a lot of different kinds of things. But at the end of the day, there are only 6 basic ways to grow your profits. And I throw that out there to be a little bit controversial intentionally. You're probably, those of you who've been doing this for a little while, probably thinking, I can name way more ways than 6 to grow your profits. And that may be true, but I'm gonna simplify it a little bit. There are hundreds of variations on how to do those 6 things. So if you've come up with a really long list, chances are I'm going to boil it down to just 6 things that may have some overlap in some of the things that you talked about. But this, I think, is going to be a really good way of structuring the way that you think about your business and the way that you think about growing your profits. And at the end of the day, that's what we all want to do. We want to help each other do that. What I'm going to take you through over these next few minutes is very simple. And that's what we're doing. We're trying to simplify. Business gets complex. Every day is complicated. We get problems thrown at us left and right. We have to deal with them, always putting out fires, et cetera. We're going to make it simple, because the simpler we can make it, the more effectively we'll be able to tackle those things. But I want to emphasize something that you probably all know, which is that simple is not easy. It's really difficult actually to simplify everything because life wants to get chaotic. Business wants to get chaotic. So the things that I'm going to talk to you about and the discipline that I'm going to ask you to apply towards your businesses, it's very simple. We can do it in half an hour and we will. But that doesn't mean it's actually going to be easy to accomplish. So to do that, it's going to take some discipline and some work. But I hope you'll agree it'll be worth it. We're going to talk about how to grow our profits. And let's begin with the end in mind. As the great Stephen Covey said, let me tell you exactly the things that you need to do right now to grow your profits. And then we're going to kind of go through all of them. We're going to look at all 6 profit levers. I'm going to share all 6 with you. I'm not going to tease you with 2 and say, you got to call me for the other 4. I'm going to give you all 6 of them. We're going to look at them all. And for your business, which may be different from mine and maybe different from the person next to you and anybody else in this conference, we got to determine what your business's specific critical constraint is. What's a critical constraint? I'm going to define that in a second. We got to focus on that constraint, that thing that's holding us back, and identify which one is the one that we got to focus on. And then we just got to work like hell to remove that particular constraint. And then once we've removed that constraint, our business is going to accelerate or grow. And then we're going to hit another constraint. We're going to remove that one. But let's tackle them one at a time. Let's figure out what the critical constraint is. And as the shampoo bottle says, lather, rinse, repeat, right? This is not something that you do once and we're done. If you want your business to keep growing or actually even keep moving, you got to keep doing it. It's a little bit like bathing that way. It only works for a limited period of time. You got to keep doing it if you want to keep experiencing those results. So a little bit more on critical constraints. We all know what a constraint is. There's you and your goal. And that's all good and well, but there's factors out there. In some cases, it's competitors. In some cases, it's the marketplace. In some cases, it's the economy. In some cases, it's government. In some cases, it's, I don't know, you tell me. Sometimes it's time constraints. There are all kinds of constraints that are playing defense, preventing you from getting to your goal. If it were easy to get to your goal, if we were all unconstrained, then we would all be gazillionaires. And maybe some of you are gazillionaires. I am not yet a gazillionaire because I've got constraints that are slowing me down, but I'm working on it. And I'm trying to get to my goals, and I'm going to chip away at that critical constraint. The critical constraint is if I look at all those constraints that are slowing me down, I say, what's the one that's slowing me down the most? What's the biggest problem that's getting in the way, that's getting in between me and my goals? How can I focus on that thing and get rid of it, or at least minimize it? That's all I mean by critical constraint. And we will talk about how we're going to focus on that later.